Hi, everyone. This is Fiber Grey Wolf of Native Voices Turtle Island TV, and we have a special guest. Actually, we have two special guests. Um, we have Miss Danielle Waiya,
Oh,
and she
right.
is a medicine woman. And my co host today is my great godson, Fierce Truth Seeker of the Red Road East.
Yo,
Welcome, everyone.
all
How
right.
are you?
Great, great. How are you?
Fine. Oh, she's so pretty. I knew she was pretty on her profile, but she's beautiful. Look at her hair.
Thank
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
you.
Beautiful.
Wow. Danielle, can you tell me again about your name?
Well, it's my indigenous name, Danielle
Yes.
Nanih. It's it comes from the Nanih Mound in Mississippi, which is where my lineage, the Chata and Chickasaw tribes are said to have first emerged from when we first emerged out of the earth. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah,
Wow. How long have you realized that you were Choctaw, Chickasaw all your life or later on in life? Walk us through your life as a young person, a very young person.
well, yeah, I remember just growing up, my family would always talk about how we had Indian in our family, and they would always talk about how we came from Mississippi, and just talking about the family history and things of that nature, different elders saying that to us. And, you know, as I went through the school system, they kept saying that, oh, everybody who has brown skin is from Africa. So, you know, in my mind, I completely kind of detach myself from the indigenous side because of what the teachers were telling us to be true. And so I'm like, okay, we got to connect to Africa. And I was just trying so hard to find some type of connection to Africa because they said that was the motherland, and they thought it was Africa.
Now, did your family ever discuss your indigenous heritage with you, or you discovered that on your own?
Oh, they definitely discussed that with us. Even naming the tribes, they will always say Choctaw and Cherokee in our family. Um, and I believed it, but at the same time, I was like, oh, y'all were just saying that because y'all don't want to be black, or y'all was just saying that because y'all don't want to be African, because we're taught in school that we all came from Africa, and it's all on TV. There's so many books out just saying that if you're brown skinned and if you identify as black, then you came from Africa. So I believe that because that's we were taught to believe everything that our teachers told us. So um, that's factual. And as I got older, and I want to say when I got into college and I left home, went to college, and started to kind of really do some deeper inner spiritual work and trying to find myself. And I still was trying to find Africa, still was trying to connect to that in some way because I even took up Afro American studies when I was in school. So I did Afro American studies and Caribbean studies while I was there. Um, just still trying to connect to Africa, but then I kept coming across information from different people that I connected with outside of college. You know, People who were in, what you would call the quote unquote conscious community, putting out different information and talking about, we were actually already here. And I was like, And so, I decided to start looking into that, and I kept coming across more and more information of seeing different pictures and artifacts and documents showing that, the original people here look like us too. And I remember I had this one professor from Ghana. His name was Professor Anthony, and he was a really, really great professor, a great teacher and mentor, and I still do appreciate him and honor him the role he played in my life. But I had a conversation with him one day because I was watching this segment on YouTube. It was a panel of three people from Africa. They were from different African countries. There's one Nigerian, somebody from Ghana, and somebody from another country. And they were sitting down talking, and they were like, I didn't hear about the African American story until I came to America, because the one guy was trying to figure out why there was such a disconnect and why our people didn't really associate or consider themselves to be one of them. And the other guy told him, he was like, they're actually not wrong. And so I went to Professor Anthony and I asked him, I said, did you guys have any stories in your village, talking about the transatlantic slave trade? And he said no. And then I asked him, did you know anything about the transatlantic slave trade before, at all when you were over in your village? And he said no, that he didn't find out or learn anything about this story until he came to America. So I was just like, wow.
What state did you attend college in?
I went to the University of Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Now, did any of the other students have the same curiosity as you about their indigenous heritage
Um, there, there,
possibilities?
there were some people that I connected with, who were open to that idea and that possibility for sure. Um, especially when I started sharing the information, like, look at what I found. And they're like, huh, that's very interesting. I want to start, talking to my elders and seeing what we have in our family too. And there were different other professors who were quote unquote Black and African American that I talked to. This one, she was from Louisiana, and she was talking about her indigenous roots. Of course, she claimed African as well, but she also always gave honor to her indigenous side as well.
Oh, that's very interesting. Were there any practicing indigenous people in your university that you know of? That
Um, Not any that, to my knowledge, that looked like us per se, but there were, people there that, had the stereotypical phenotype that, everybody thinks is, the phenotype for all American Indians or Native people. But they had different Native groups and powwows that they would plan, and different social movements and things of that nature.
oh, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, as a child, were you interested in health and nutrition,
Um,
or this is something you came into later?
It's something that, well, let me start off by saying this. When I was a kid, um, especially when I became,
Mm-mm.
started to have a little bit more sense of who I was, especially like when I got to middle school and things like that, when I was old enough to actually know what was going on around me. Like, I just didn't trust medicines, and even when I was younger, like, my family used to think I was so weird because they're like, know, like, she's too scared to take the pill, and because I just didn't. It was just something about it that I just didn't want to take it, and I didn't trust it, and I didn't really connect the dots until I became an adult. And like I said, when I went to college and I started exploring myself and meeting different people and learning different holistic ways, alternative ways that I could use to heal an ailment. And that's when I really started to get deeper into it. And also, when I was in high school, I was in this group. It was an extracurricular group after school called Young Ladies of Victory Empowered. Empowered. And one of our mentors, her name was Full Moon Chata, and she introduced us. We were 15 at the time, and she introduced us to crystal healing and
Really, that
yeah,
young?
herbal teas, astrology, and all kinds of stuff. So I definitely have to give honor and thanks to her, and I'm still connected with her to this day. I still keep in contact. Um, just giving honor to her for really helping me to tap deeper into that journey because I started from based on the information she was giving us, and I was kind of interested in learning more about it anyway. it really helped to open me up on my spiritual and wellness journey. So
Now, do you still practice crystal healing as part of your medicines?
I kind of what I do is this is what I think now, because the way that I thought about crystals back then and the way that I think about it now is completely different. Now I'm seeing that it doesn't matter if it's a crystal or a rock or a stick, anything that comes from the earth has energy to it that heals, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on fancy crystals. It takes something as little as just going into your backyard and planting your feet into the ground and just sitting around with a bunch of rocks and the trees. It's all the earth element, and you need all the elements, including the earth element, to incorporate in your healing.
I was talking to my good brother that Fierce Truth Seeker knows as well. Reggie walks with
Mm,
herbs. Caesar, he's a practitioner of herbs and so many different forms. And he was saying that right now he's dealing with vibration healing. I don't know if that's something that you're familiar with or you use in your practice as well. Vibrations. I know you just spoke of, crystals or rocks.
Mhm.
Everything gives off energy, but he said that a lot of his patients, he deals with that type of healing. And when he and his wife, they had to get the COVID vaccination
mm-hmm.
because of requirements for her job.
Mm.
So because she got them, he got them, and with precautions of using herbs, they immediately started to take the herbs and they did some type of machines with vibrations to their bodies. I don't know if you're familiar with that either, but he said that they got no swelling, no sicknesses. You couldn't even see where they got the vaccination because he used this technique,
Wow.
and that happened the very following Monday after the shots. You couldn't even see where the shocks were put on their bodies.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
utilized homeopathy as well.
Okay.
Yeah, to ward off the effects of the vaccine.
That makes so much sense because, we're on the same page because, there are different frequencies in the universe that heal us, and there are also different frequencies in the universe that can harm us and kill us. So we have to get back into alignment with the frequencies of nature. I'm not sure of the machine that they use, but I know that you can use the singing bowls. Um,
The Tibetan bowls.
the Tibetan bowls, and they have the
Mm,
Christian bowls. I love incorporating that
yeah.
into meditations and doing sound baths and things like that. Because
really,
Mm-hmm.
you
yeah,
use that technique.
yes, because it's so healing. It's healing to the mind, body, and soul. It really helps to raise your frequency and your vibration because we are a vibrational, high energy type of people, and so we need things like the crystal healing, the the music. We have to get back to listen to 432 hertz
432 hertz. Yep.
music.
Yeah, he was telling me a friend of ours, a mutual friend. She's crossed over right now. Recently, and she went in a circle, really crippled with a walker, and she danced for hours. And by the time she finished dancing, she barely even needed the walker because the music was healing her.
Mm-hmm.
And the head drummer came over and said to Reggie, I can't, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. It's amazing. I mean, she's not even on the walker at the end of the powwow. Her faith and the drum. He says, I'm a drummer, and the drum is the heartbeat of Mother Earth. But to
Mm-hmm.
see this is a miracle. You know, it's really a miracle that this woman is actually walking because of music and the drumming. So that
Yes.
reminds me of what you're saying about the bowls, the vibrations of the bowls. And, if you could tell the audience a little bit more about that type of healing, I really would have appreciated just how you use it in your practice. What effects have you seen with your clients, your patients from that type of healing? And then, we're still going to get into the herbs and all the great things you do. And the Kusa Nation, I read something up on them. I realized I knew one person that was or is involved in that nation, uh, Perry. What is his name? He does a lot of Perryman, or I don't
Oh,
know if you know.
I know of him, but I know he's no longer a part of the group that I'm affiliated with.
Okay, okay. He
I know.
knows a lot of great history, a
Mm,
lot of great history. So go on and tell us a little bit about the healing bowls, and I'll let Fierce Truth Seeker ask you some questions and tell you what he hopes to do with spirituality and healing, as far as nutrition.
okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to get my singer ball. I have a sing. The singer ball is right here. I'm going to grab it real quick.
Oh, wow.
Mm. Nice.
How are you?
Yeah,
I
I'm
was like,
good. I'm good.
you guys are right on time. I'm telling
Oh
the
yeah.
audience,
Right on time.
right on time. That's
Oh yeah.
awesome. You like my garden?
I love it. And that's what it's all about.
That's the
Yeah.
farmhouse back there.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were in the longhouse.
Yep. Yep.
I
Oh
was in
yeah.
New York, all the way up to Canada with that.
All the way up.
Okay, she's ready. Oh, that's awesome.
This one is my singing bowl, and I believe this note is. I think it's the G note. Is it the G note or the F note? But this one is specifically for the heart chakra,
Mm.
and it's made out of quartz.
Out
Like
of out of what?
out of quartz crystal.
Quartz.
Court crystals. Wow.
Now, do you have your traditional ones, which are made out of like the brass and copper? Um, but these have been trending a lot in recent years. But I absolutely love the energy and vibration that I get from this, like incorporating it in meditations, or even on those days when you just feel low and you're just getting stressed from all of the troubles of the day, stress from work or whatever you're going through, stresses that from this pandemic, because everybody's been stressed and feeling low from this pandemic, and so this is something you can do to help to raise your frequency and your vibration. And I usually just tap them a little bit, and I just like this.
Oh,
You just feel that energy and vibration that moves through you, and you just feel it in your spirit. You just take the sound up and down with you.
wow. When you started, that went right through me. I really felt something. I don't know about you, felt Fierce Truth Seeker, but I
Mm-hmm.
felt something really go through my soul, and I felt energetic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you mentioned the pandemic. Does that type of healing help the pandemic issues? Symptoms or curing?
Well, of course, I can't necessarily say that it will cure, but I would say that it definitely will help to heal whatever ailment or whatever emotional and spiritual thing that you're going through, and even pains in your body, like the vibrations from not only just the singing bowl, but just any natural instrument. It can really help with pain in your body.
Oh,
And
it helps pain in your body.
definitely, especially when somebody's playing the bowl over your body, like or the tuning fork.
Now, when you say pain, do you mean like arthritis and rheumatoid issues or
Yes,
wounds and things like that?
yes, definitely, definitely. And oh, and you just made me think of something too. When I was in college, and that Ghanaian professor I had, I took a music class of his. It was African music class, and we had a section. And he was talking about I think it was called the Shona tribe in South Africa, and they have this instrument called the mbira. And in their tribe, anytime somebody in the village was sick, they would play the mbira and do a ceremony around a circle, and the instrument and the ritual was said to heal the person from whatever sickness that they had. Um, and we did the same things over here in Turtle Island because even like the Choctaw and Chickasaw tribes, there's this ceremony called Pashoka. Um, so if somebody's sick, the whole community comes together in ceremony and prayer. They're singing, they're playing instruments, and just asking the Most High Great Spirit to help to heal this vessel. You know, and it's they said that it works, and I trust and believe and honor what our ancestors say, because our ancestors, they were on something scientific. you
What
know
was that instrument that they used? That you said they used in Ghana?
well, it's in South Africa. It's called the Imbira.
Imbira. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I know people with that name Indira. Do you know what the name Indira means, or you're not
uh,
sure?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Now, was the Healing Bowl created in United States? Someone gave me the impression that it was created in America. I don't know if you know for sure.
I don't know for sure. I mean, I heard that I mean, it's usually associated like with East India and Tibet and
Yeah,
Nepal.
Tibet. Hmm.
Tibet, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I was familiar with that. But a lot of colonial thinking, they take credit for.
Credit for everything.
How long have you been using the Healing Bowl?
Shoot, I've been using it for a minute now. It's been a few years.
Mm. Do you use the bells as well?
I don't have the bells, but I know some people that do use the bells. Like
Okay.
some people like to open up their meditations and their rituals and ceremonies with the bells. And
Because I know some people who use the bowls. They also utilize the bells as along with it.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's from as far as I know, it's from East India, Tibet, Nepal, those areas. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of stuff here that we created, but we don't have to take credit for every single thing. Everyone,
Right. Right.
Well, you're not taking credit for it, but a lot of people, we know who they are. They take credit for everything. I mean, even our indigenous medicines like the aspirin, I mean, that was created by, that type of medicine was created by Native Americans, and
Hmm.
you would never know it.
Exactly.
yeah, and with the whole aspirin, I get what they mean by that, because there are some plants here that we use that would be considered like a natural aspirin. Like the red willow bark, and I know birch bark can also be used for that as well. But the modern day version of an aspirin, no.
And you also are a Reiki practitioner.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your works?
So I was initiated into Reiki in 2019 by a woman of Taino descent. Her name is Adela Nieves, and
Mm-hmm.
her indigenous name is Noble Snow. And it's been a really great, interesting journey with Reiki. I feel like it really has expanded my mind, and it expanded, my worldview, expanded my path and my spiritual journey. Um, Basically, what Reiki is this energy healing. The word Reiki is actually a Japanese word. It comes from the Japanese culture, and you know, um, Rei meaning coming from the source of the Most High, and Ki, which is the vital energy source. Just like the words chi and she, they all refer back to the vital energy force.
Mm-hmm.
And Reiki is pretty much, like laying hands. And different indigenous cultures around the world had their own version of laying hands. Even our people in the quote unquote black church, they were doing that too. They probably didn't realize that that was part of their culture coming out, but you know, the laying hands is a very powerful healing tool that I would recommend people to get, or even to get into, because it works. You can do it hands on, you can do it hands off, you can do it at a distance. And you're basically using yourself as a channel and a vessel for the energy of the Most High to come in and help to balance out the energy and heal this person of whatever they're going through physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Um, there have been certain clients that I've had. I remember I had this one client, and I felt I was in her heart area, her chest area, and I just felt so much energy because as Reiki practitioners, we can pick up on whatever's going on in any area in your body. So I picked up on a lot of energy in her chest, and I was like, I felt a lot of energy in your chest, like it was just beating, 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 and she was like, I have issues with my heart. And she said she had like some type of operation on her heart. Um, and she had been going back and forth to the doctor with issues with her heart and her blood pressure and things like that. So, it's real. It's truly it's definitely real. I can say
Yeah,
that.
I have another friend. She's a musician as well as a Reiki master, and she also does. I think they call it tapping.
Yeah,
Oh,
Uh,
tapping. Yeah.
and can you tell me any success stories about your Reiki healing that you can recall? Any particular patient, client that really had great results from it,
yeah.
or there's several.
So far, the clients that I have had, have reported positive experiences with me, and mind you, I honestly I haven't really charged for the service. A lot of the people that I've done radio, I've done it for free. Just I just
Oh,
to come over and just for me to practice my skill, and just for me to introduce more people to this practice. And I've gotten positive feedback. People were talking about how it really helped them to release some stress, and they felt, one person said they felt like they were floating on cloud nine and stuff like that, because it truly does put a person in that meditative, relaxed state. Because even coming from a perspective of somebody who's gotten it, because I had a Reiki sister that did it on me, and it truly does take you into another realm, and it makes you forget about everything that's going on in that space and time. And you know, and I had this one client that was pregnant, and I felt it was just so much energy. I felt the energy of the baby. It was just such a beautiful experience, and she thought it was a beautiful experience. She was like, She said she never had experienced anything like that before, and she said it was so beautiful, and she just felt so relaxed and so relieved. And they just have been really positive and beautiful experiences so far, and I'm very thankful for it.
Oh, now you mentioned pregnancy. You also a doula?
Well, doula student. Well, I'll call myself a doula student because I'm still learning and still trying to connect with different indigenous mentors who are teaching our traditional ways. Um, so far, I have made medicines for women to help them in their postpartum healing. As a matter of fact, I just had a friend. She reposted something from last year. This it's crazy. I'm like, wow, I made those products for her a year today, and I have made her some padsicles to help heal her perineum. I made her some wound butters and a diaper rash and nipple balm. It was a two-in-one diaper rash and nipple balm, and I made her a healing herbal bath salt that she could take to help heal her perineum, and also use because she was trying to do the lotus birth thing. So she kept the placenta attached to the baby until it fell off. So she could
Mm.
use the herbal bath salt to cover the placenta as well as use for herself in her baths. And yeah, I made her a few products, and she was very thankful. She's still thankful for it to this day, and I'm just so glad I was able to help her. I had made some products for my cousin of mine who just had her baby 6 months ago, just to help her postpartum healing.
Now we forgot to tell the audience what doula is because a lot of people are not familiar with that term.
Yeah, and and there also are some misconceptions about what a doula is too. A doula is not a midwife. There
Right.
are some doulas who are midwives as well, but the tradition of a doula is not, typically a midwife. We're just there to support the mother, help care for her, help nurture her, help her through the healing process, advocate for her. If we need to go to the hospitals and there's a certain way that she wants to give birth, um, you know, make different products to help her in the healing process, assist her in that transition from, transition into the journey of motherhood, because a lot of women need that. I mean, we have to get back to the village mentality because there are a lot of women who are suffering from postpartum depression and PTSD from traumatic birthing experiences and traumatic postpartum experiences, and they need that support.
Now, is the doula in the environment of the uh, midwife? Are they all together at one time, or she has separate duties and midwife is never there?
The doula, so there's different doulas. You have pregnancy doulas, you have birthing doulas, you have and then you have postpartum doulas, and then you have doulas that do all three. So there are some doulas that are actually there at the time of birth, that's assisting the mother while the midwife is there as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Has it been recorded that doulas actually have to deliver the baby?
There have been some doulas that actually have delivered the baby, um, and they have been successful with it. Because there are some doulas that have experience in delivering babies. Um, and me myself, I don't have any experience in delivering babies. I have taken a workshop in which, because I had a doula course I was doing, and we had a 3-day workshop where they taught us emergency midwife skills, which I think is very important. I think all women should have some type of basic knowledge of birthing, and because you never know, you may not be able to make it to the hospital. You may be stranded on the road, you may be in some type of emergency situation, and you just may have to have a baby right then and there. So I think that everyone, especially the women, should have some type of basic knowledge of how to deliver babies and assist the birthing woman.
You are a community. Herbalist, and you were taught ironically by a Dr. Turtle of indigenous remedies. How
Yeah.
quaint, Dr. Turtle. What does a community herbalist do? What are your duties?
So that was the title of the certification that I got from his class. So I have actually two teachers that I and mentors that I give honor and reverence to. One is Mama Raven. Mama Raven has been my mentor since I got out of college, since 2017. And I came home and I met her at an Afro herbalism workshop, and she was there. Just adding on, her knowledge and wisdom. She's a very good wealth of knowledge. I really appreciate her being an elder and a good mentor to me in my life because it was through her where I started learning how to actually develop that personal connection with the plants because I started going to her herbal walks on the riverfront at the Detroit River, and I eventually started assisting her with the herbal walks. And from her, I learned how to identify the plant, what to use it for. Because as we're out in the wetlands, she would teach us how three properties about the plant, the medicinal properties, the edible properties, survival properties. Because people don't realize there's so much medicine and food all around them. Everybody's talking about we're in a food shortage and this and that and the third, but we have food and medicine all around us. We just forgot what they were. And for her, so from her, I really appreciate her for teaching me that.
Now, you practice of herbal medicine, natural survival. Can you share with us a little bit of that? Uh, you are planning to have a medicinal farm
Yes,
with natural plants.
yes, it
And
would be
can you tell
natural.
us about that?
Okay, yes, I'll go into all of that. So as far as the natural survival, so what I mean by that is um, going back to learning how to identify plants in the wild that we can use for first aid, that we can use for medicine, that we can use for food. Um, for example, there's this plant called the cattails, and you know what cattails. We all know cattails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So that entire plant from the root up is edible, and you can eat it raw. You can grind it up and make bread and pancakes out of it. And it also has medicinal.
Salads.
Yeah, you can make cattail salads, stews. It's medicinal. It has a phytochemical in it called mucilage, which is really good for respiratory um, and expelling excess mucus out of the body. So that's
Now,
one survival plant that you guys should add to your list.
how does it taste?
I actually haven't tasted the cattail yet, but
Mm.
my mentor, Mama Raven, she said she ate it before and she said it was good. So
Yeah, because I heard about it. That you could, like you say, make
It actually
pancakes,
looks like.
stuff like it.
Does it grow? Does it grow in swampy land or
yeah, it usually
swamp
grows.
land?
It grows
You've
in
seen
swampy land.
it.
It grows in swampy, marsh-like areas. It's always
Yeah,
growing around water.
yeah. I've always wondered how it tasted.
They say
Yeah.
you can do everything with it. What
Yeah.
are some of the other enjoyable edible herbs that you can recommend to the audience? You can do a go down list if you choose.
Of course, we have to talk about the dandelions because that whole entire plant from the root up is edible. Um, you can eat it raw. You can dry it and drink it as a tea. You can put it in salads. I've had dandelions in salads. I've made soups with it. You can take the root and dry it out and make coffee with it. Um, it's good for the liver and the gut. It's an evacuant, so it's going to remove all the toxins out of your intestines and your liver. It also has another phytochemical in it called tannins, which means that it has astringent properties, making it good for the skin. So if you have skin ailments, rashes, you can infuse your oils and butters with dandelion, and it can heal that.
Okay, what else do you recommend for the immune system to build it up as well as dandelion? Because I just read that China has 20 million people in lockdown because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty scary. And, you know, it's nice to know things that help to increase our immune functions. So if you could share, just go down the list.
Okay. Well, I actually it's interesting you mentioned that. I A few months ago I taught a class online called American Herbs for Immunity. And my personal top three herbs that I like to use for my immunity are elderberry, mullein, and yarrow. Those are my,
And
my top.
yeah, that's your formula. So can you explain to the audience which each herb does?
So elderberry is an immunostimulant. It's good for cold and flu. It's an antiviral, um, antioxidant, antimicrobial. So you definitely need to get some elderberry in your life. Elderberry is the berries are edible when cooked. You cannot eat raw elderberries because it's toxic and poisonous. But once you cook it, you can cook it or make a jam, some preserves out of it, and it's edible then. There's also the flower on the elderberry plant, which people call elderflower. It's a white flower, and that's edible as well. You can make different teas and remedies with that too. People make elderflower wine, and so you need elderberries and elderflowers in your life. Um, you need mullein, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen mullein. It's that fuzzy plant that grows very soft. Um, For survival, it's a natural toilet paper. So if you're out in the wild and you don't have any toilet paper, you can get some mullein. It's so soft. Um,
We go with the leaves.
and you're healing your skin when you're wiping yourself with it. So it's doing all of that. It's so good for the respiratory. Like if I'm having issues with allergies and I have a lot of mucus and phlegm, then I go straight to mullein. Mullein is my go-to whenever I'm having those symptoms. Having it, I break the mullein out. And a lot of these herbs I foraged myself before. Like I foraged mullein quite a few times
Mm.
and dried it out myself and just took it as a tea. And yarrow.
now,
Oh,
now, are you a vegan or a
nah,
vegetarian?
nah. Now my Mama Raven is, but I'm not.
You could chow down on some deer and
Some bison.
Yeah, matter of fact, I just made some bison burgers a few days ago.
I love bison burgers. Yeah.
They were so good.
Hmm.
well, Fierce Truth Seeker, he's a semi-vegetarian, right?
Yeah. I do most of my eating regimen is plant based.
Okay.
I'd say about a good 80 to 85% of my eating regimen is plant based.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I was a raw foodist for about 15 to 20 years, something like that. Um, I do mostly raw. I say about now I do about 75% of my eating regimen is raw food.
Whoa, that's good.
I
You know,
do I do I do eat some I do eat some meat because I had read a book years ago called Eating Right for Your Blood Type, and based on that book, for my blood type, I do need to eat some red meat. So I do incorporate that, but it's just It's not anything in large quantities. I'd say I eat meat maybe like twice a week at the most.
Hmm. And that's the indigenous way, really. We were a hunter gatherer type of people originally. So that's kind of like where I'm at, that hunter gatherer, paleo type of
Mm,
diet. That's kind of like what I try to follow.
beautiful.
Now,
Beautiful.
where do you plan on having your farm? Where in your state, or I know you said you were working with the Kusa Nation. Their chief, she's awesome. I did
Yeah,
some research on her. They're non-recognized by the government as a tribe, but they're doing powerful, powerful things. I mean, they're working with human rights, uh, child removal
yeah,
issues in the court, women's rights, just human rights all together, and they are her tribe, her nation is part of a bigger collection effort with other world organizations for human rights issues.
yeah.
You
Definitely.
told me that you volunteer for them. On what level do you volunteer?
So they have two things that they have going on right now. They have an indigenous homeschooling program called Budding Starseed Academy, and then they also have a clinic called Mahawahe Clinic. And right now, both are virtual right now, but they are working on plans and securing the funds and resources to develop physical locations for both the school and the clinic. So I'm really looking forward to that. So right now, I'm one of the virtual practitioners right now, and we get a lot of their clients are people. They have people within the nation as well as people who they advocate for, in the different court cases and things like that, who utilize the services. And we have an array of different practitioners. We have two licensed mental health therapists on the team. Um, we have another practitioner who does EFT tapping and shamanic work. And then I offer Reiki and herbal consultations. So
Yeah,
it's really, really good.
um, I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish.
Yeah, it's just a really good team, and I definitely have learned a lot from my experience with volunteering them so far. With them so far, just with the clients that we get, it really kind of opens up your eyes to the depth of the trauma that our people have gone through for years and years and years. It's generational curses that are still plaguing us, and it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
I did some research on her, and she says that they're ancient people. Uh, she spoke a little Cherokee, I think some other languages too. She mentioned American Indian, Aboriginal. And do they have a land base, or are they urban, or what?
So their headquarters is in Georgia. So I know they have like a home and a homestead and land in Georgia. So that's where they're based at. But then they also have people in the nation that are just from different states. They have people in Arizona. They got Michigan folks. They got people in Tennessee that are affiliated with them. Um, and they don't and they pretty much keep it open to any indigenous person. You don't necessarily have to be um, in their tribe or with a federally recognized tribe or anything. They pretty much keep it open to anybody to utilize their resources, whether it's the clinic or the homeschooling platform.
Is the organization they're affiliated with, is that the AUI? Is that correct? American United International, or does it have another title?
I'm not exactly sure. And I definitely can connect you with her if you would like that too.
Oh yes, we would like to. We would love to interview her and her works.
Hmm.
She has lawyers with her, and Oh, very wise. You told me she has seven um, women and
Yeah,
seven steps,
it's the
clan mothers.
yeah, they're all clan mothers. The Council of Seven Sisters is what they call it.
That's awesome. Very awesome. For the
Mhm.
audience, that's Kusa. Would you spell that for the audience?
It's COOSA, Kusa Nation, and they have a website at www.kusanation.org, I believe, and you can look them up on there too.
For anyone that's interested in connecting with Dr. Gates, right? That's her name, Dr. Gates.
Oh no, Dr. Tate.
Gates,
Tate.
spell it.
TATE.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's wonderful. So, fierce truth seeker, how you doing over there?
Good, good. I'm great.
Before
I'm great.
you go, Danielle, can you give us a couple of nice recipes to spice up a meal?
Oh yeah, yeah. So um like you can even start off when you're starting off with your foraging. The easiest way to incorporate it in the meal that I find is doing a stew. You know, you can do something as simple as doing like black eyed peas and collard greens and adding in your dandelion greens, adding in your nettles, adding in what else is there's so many different edible plants, y'all. Um, I've had nettles, I've eaten mugwort, wild
That's a
lettuce.
powerful herb.
Yeah, mugwort will clean you out. It will
Mhm.
really clean you out.
And
Wild
fierce
lettuce.
truth seeker, do you have any questions or recipes you would like to share? Quick building recipes you would like to share?
Health building recipes. I do. I do a lot of like salads, raw salads. With stuff like baby lettuces, arugula, dandelion, um, onions, garlic. You know, um, carrots. Um, and I pretty much let my foods be my medicine. I eat, most of the time, when I eat it, it's not so much for, I mean, I do eat stuff for, the taste, the
Hmm.
taste and stuff like that. But I make it so that, it's also medicine, just like how, when you read in, for those who are familiar with the scriptures, how it talks about letting your food be your medicine.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
Hmm.
Now that was basically life changing for you, right, Fierce?
Oh
As
yeah,
far as some health issues.
yeah. I've utilized uh, that particular eating regimen for things like, well, okay, I had sleep apnea at one time, and I had started back on, because like I said, I was a raw foodist, for many years, and um, once I started um, deviating a little bit from that, then I developed sleep apnea. Um, and people would tell me, I would stop breathing when I was sleeping, snoring a lot, and things of that nature. So, I just, had gotten back into doing mostly raw food, you know, and I had, cut out, a lot of processed foods and stuff like that. I also had kidney stones, um, and I was supposed to get an operation done to remove the kidney stones, and I had done research on how to get rid of them naturally, and I went on a regimen of lemons, um, drinking, like juicing lemons, squeezing the juice of lemons, like 24 lemons,
Hmm.
uh, drinking that, and also um, squeezing lemons in my water. So anytime I drink water, I drink the lemons. And when I went back to the doctor, because they wanted to do a checkup before they do the surgery, and the doctor looked and said, he said, I don't understand. The kidney stones are gone, and I don't know what happened. And he was like, and he says, you don't have to do the surgery anymore.
Bless his heart.
And so I didn't have to do that surgery. The stones were gone.
Oh, that's great.
Hmm.
You know that they
Yeah,
always
he's a new man. I remember he used to complain and
Yeah,
for
you remember that,
years.
right?
Yeah, I remember. I
Wow,
remember.
yeah,
And those
that was
kidney
a while
stones are
ago.
no joke.
Yeah.
I knew some people they actually passed the stones right in front of me,
Mm,
and it was terrible, terrible.
it's no
So,
joke.
folks, get you lemon juice and go on a regiment, and
Fresh
maybe
lemons.
Danielle can recommend something else for kidney stones as well.
yeah, I would say start taking your bitters, your dandelions, your wild lettuce, your plantains, your burdock root. Start incorporating more bitters into your diet because that really helps the digestive system.
Hmm.
Danielle, what are the easiest curable type of herbs that someone can grow at home? Easiest to work with.
Hmm. I would say start off with the ones that are growing in your backyard. 'Cause I actually had
Dandelions.
the dandelions, the wild lettuce, the plantain, the burdock root grows, red clovers. They're literally all around us. Wild
Hmm.
they're everywhere. But we just
Now, do they grow in shaded areas?
yeah, some
Or
grow in shaded areas, some grow in more sunny areas. Um, but yeah, people mow down their lawns all the time, so they don't know.
I know. It's crazy.
well, before we go, Danielle, can you supply the audience with your website?
So my website is www.okaohoyo.com. That's OKAOHOYO. And Oka Ohoyo means water woman in the Chata language. And
That's wonderful.
You should type it in the chat, Firebird.
Okay, she's going to have to
let me
spell it again if she doesn't mind. Okay,
I'm putting it in the private chat right now if you guys can see it.
www dot
Mm-hmm. O
O. The letter O is an okra.
K as in king,
Uh huh.
A as in apple,
Uh huh.
O as in okra,
Uh huh.
H as in house.
How? H.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Uh
O as in
huh.
O as in okra. Um,
Again. O again.
yep, and Y as in yes, and O as in okra.
.com or .org.
.com.
.com.
And yeah, so I teach different classes on indigenous medicine and indigenous spirituality and things of that nature, indigenous healing. Um because our healing methods and our spirituality is all really all in one. We are a holistic people. We heal mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And your website explains all of that.
Yes, it does. I have things that I sell things like sage and different herbal medicine products, ritual herbs, and things of that nature. All homemade. Some of the things I forage myself. And then also, you asked about the farm we're developing. So we actually have a homestead that we're developing. We have a
Mm-hmm.
field of land that we invest into, and we plan on investing into more land in the area. And we want to develop a medicinal herbal garden, um, growing our own medicines, some of which already grow naturally. And we want to do it with all native plants because we want to restore the native landscape. We want to restore the native ecosystem because there's a lot of invasive plants that have taken over and killed off a lot of the native species. Um, and the native species are just better for the environment.
Okay, by we, who do you mean? The Kusa Nation or your team?
Oh, my team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where are
Well,
you located?
In Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, Detroit. Okay.
Yep. Hmm.
Boogie Down Detroit, huh? All famous music.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Small town.
That's wonderful. Well, Danielle, I thank you so much. Fierce, I thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
You're
you.
tired, but you came here for me.
Oh
We're a
yeah.
team. And that's Fierce Truth Seeker from the Red Road East. And I thank him so much. I know he's tired. And Danielle, I'll talk to you very, very soon, young lady. And could you message me a good picture of you, like with your hair
Yeah.
down, if you have, so I can put it as your cover shot on our interview.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And thank you so much again for inviting me. Like, this was so pleasant. I really enjoyed you all, and
Thank you
I
for
would
coming.
like to. Yeah, I definitely would like to continue on, connecting and do this again one day.
We gotta connect.
For
We have
sure.
to be. Yesterday I had the longhouse. I
Mhm.
should have put it back again, but the garden was important because of your work, and we have to fellowship more. So that house back there, we're going to that house back there, and we're going to all
Yeah.
fellowship. You know, it's wonderful. So, Fierce, if you know anyone on your side that would like to get in touch with her, she supplied her website, and they can get in touch with her and her wonderful works. But
Great. For
I
sure.
know you guys have to go. I have to go. Fierce, I'll talk to you backstage for a second.
Okay.
Thank you once again, Danielle. This is
Yeah.
Fiber Grey Wolf, Native Voices, Turtle Island TV. And I'll probably see you again this week, guys. Thanks again, Danielle.
Thank
It
you.
was
Yep.
awesome.
Oh, yeah, this was an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're a
Thank
sweetheart.
you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Fierce, I always love you. I'll talk to you
Oh yeah.
backstage.
Okay.
Okay, guys,
Likewise.
signing off.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. See you guys later.
All
Okay, man. Take
right.
care.